So now we're going to start with the idea of confidence intervals here. The other thing I just wanted to add that we just went over here in our group is with data set A, with the pre and post, the fact that one person starts with a 1 and the other one with a 7 is not a problem for a repeated measures design, because the fact that you start at different points doesn't matter. Individual differences are removed. So what matters is how much people improved in the program. So what I wanted to go to now was the output screen that says 95% confidence interval of the difference. And I want to talk about the idea of a confidence interval. So I was asking Emily and Drew, one of the problems we often have with this idea of significance is the result is either significant or not. And for a lot of statisticians, they don't like yes and no. It's too black and white. Many times there's shades of gray here. And so one of the ways we get around that, or we don't do that, is this idea of confidence intervals. And you can look this up in your book a little bit more. But let me just ask both of you. If somebody was about to enroll in the Taussman asthma program and they said, well, Dr. Taussman, I'm interested in enrolling in this, but I want to know, how much do you think I'm going to improve in your program? Now, given the data set we have here, which is tiny, right, 3, but I'm just teaching with it, Emily, what would be your best guess of how much the program would help?
5.
You would probably say 5. The treatment effect is 5. And so in this particular case, you'd say, I'm going to make a point estimate, it's called, and I'm going to say my best guess on how much the Taussman program is going to help somebody is 5. If you said 5, you would have a great degree of precision. It would be a point estimate, one number. But Drew, would you have a lot of confidence that this is going to be how much it's going to help people?
No.
You would have low confidence. You would have a low degree of confidence. So a point estimate gives you a high degree of precision. Hey, it's going to help 5. But you really wouldn't be very sure. You'd have low confidence in that. So the thing we do is, instead of giving a point estimate, take a look at that 95% confidence interval. Notice it says lower and upper on your output screen. I think it's on the first page of the agenda. Take the negatives away from that and notice the lower and the upper. Now what if we round the lower? Instead of negative and 7.48, that would round to what, 7.5? So if you want to write for the lower, 7.5. And what would the upper round into? 2.5. So think about that for just a minute. Is there anything weird about those two numbers? You got a 7.5 for the upper limit and a 2.5 for the lower limit.
They're separated by the treatment effect.
Yes.
By 5.
The middle is 5. Do you think that's a coincidence? No, it is not a coincidence. In this case, what we're doing here is we're saying, and you may want to write this statement down. The statement would say, I am 95% confident that people will improve between 2.5 and 7.5 points in my program. I am 95% confident that people will improve between 2.5 and 7. 2.5 and 7.5 in my program. I am 95% confident that people will improve between 2.5 and 7.5 in my program. Emily, does that make some sense to you?
Yeah.
Now, Drew, can I ask you, is that a good, precise estimate?
It's a lot better than the last one.
Well, it's not as precise. We have an interval here. It's an interval
okay.
of 5.
Got it.
So now we have less precision.
Kind of down in precision, but up in confidence.
Up in confidence. So in a confidence interval, we don't say significant or not, but we say, hey, I'm 95% confident that when people are in my program, they're going to improve between 2.5 and 7.5. The point estimate is 5, the treatment effect. But what it basically does, and there's a lot of math, and you don't need to know it if you want to look in your book and see the complicated formulas. It's based on the standard error of the mean and all that. But you get the printout here, and the idea is you are 95% confident that the program will help you out between 2.5 and 7.5. And that's what a confidence interval is. It's not significant or non-significant, but it's saying I'm 95% confident that the program will help you out between 2.5 and 7.5. Emily, does that work for you? Drew, is that good for you?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that is confidence intervals. And like I said, the rate on that, the middle is always 5, because that's the treatment effect. And the range is kind of based on the standard error of the mean. You want that to be low so that your interval is small. But that explains confidence intervals. Any questions? Okay, we're stopping again.